Hi, I'm Slack, this is Tony, and welcome to Smog Vlog. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Evic V2, or VTwo. Alright, so welcome back. Yeah, like we said, we're taking a look at the V2 from Evic. It's a doody little device, built-in 500 mAh battery, but before we get too much into those tech specs, let's dive down for a quick Tony unboxing.
In his best Australian accent, dive down. Okay guys, here we are with the unboxing of the Evic V2. Quick tour around the box. Here we see at the bottom we've got the new firmware version 4.02. Around the box, usual standard fare that we're used to. On the back, interestingly enough, I noted, on the back gives you the usual shell spiel about what's going on inside the box. New firmware version with custom logos, real-time clock, OLED screen, TCR bypass. Down here we've got the standard what's included in the box with the battery, USB cable, Evic VT skin, manual and warranty card. Down here tells us what colour we've got, or colour options: black, blue, white and orange. I went for the plain Jane black version. Right, let's get in this bad boy. Okay, what do we got? Warranty card. Okay, if someone watching could let those two arseholes on the sofa know that the warranty for this is 90 days, that would be great, because they're usually crap at remembering. There we go, there's the black bad boy, but hold on a second, we'll put him to one side. Save the good stuff. Right. Oh, large wordy thing. Christ, that is a large wordy thing. Hopefully in lots and lots of languages. Yep. French, German. Gonna go with Spanish on that one. Another language. Russian. Gonna go with Russian. An abundance of languages. One bog standard USB. Here's the how did they describe it? Evic VT skin. Silicon cover. It's a nice inclusion. Let's grab him out of there and see what it looks like with it in. I do wish that they'd include sort of like a loophole built into the silicon so that you can stick a lanyard on it and have it hanging around your neck. It would make it a lot more portable. I mean, this is good for just protecting the body of your mod from scratches, but in terms of portability, you've still got a battery with a tank on top sitting in your pocket. Right, so yeah, lovely looking black matte finish. I suppose first up has got to be the 510 springiness, so we'll check that. Bloody hell. Yeah, that is really stiff resistance on that 510 there. Let's power this bad boy on. Boom, straight in. Interesting, you can see the screen refresh rate. No buttons, your selector is going left and right on this dial at the top, which will determine, yes, 5-degree increments on temperature control. 3 clicks gets us to menu select for what we want to do. Next one to the left is temp NI. Okay, so you've got to go right with that one to move to the next. Otherwise, left will take you down. Similar to the cuboid menu structure, one way will cycle you through the different options you've got, like NI, stainless steel, TI. The other way will cycle you down on your menu options to adjust power, and well, that's pretty much it. I mean, it does cycle you through the rest, but so TCR memory 1, and then into wattage mode and bypass mode, and clock select, so you can change the time. So once you're in your desired category, you then just flip and there's the ramp up straight to 80, back down to 1. There's a bit of rattle on that button at the top there. And here she is with the Cleto loaded on top with the Fat Boy tank. Looking at the top of it, the tank doesn't sit completely flush to the mod. I can get my fingernail underneath here. Alright, that's screwed down now probably about as much as I would want to. And there's still, I can still see a gap between there. So heads up guys, if that's a thing for you, that exists on this. So, oh, there's the clock. How cool is that? Okay guys, I think we've covered off everything. If, as always, we haven't covered something that you're interested in, drop us a comment down below and we'll include that in the future unboxings for you. But for now, back to those two arseholes on the sofa.
And welcome back in the room. Thank you, me, for that unboxing. Much better than Slack, apparently. So the readers have been telling us. You know, I've had loads of comments coming. Anyway, moving on. Power range, tech specs, features and protection.
So the V2's got a built-in 5000 mAh battery. It's an 80 watt device. It does variable wattage, temp control on nickel, titanium and stainless steel with adjustable TCR. It's also got a bypass mode, which is pretty funky. It's got dual circuit battery protection with the standard overcharge, over discharge and over current protections. It's got updatable firmware and comes with a reset button, which is another nice feature. As well as the firmware, it can also take custom logos and it charges by USB. Obvs.
Okay, this is going to be one of those ones where we're darting in and out as usual and get ready to dart back out again because we're going to be going up close with button pushes.
Oh no, something different.
The button push, I don't know what the fuck he's on. I really don't.
Right, let's touch this sucker up. So yeah, here's our uppy downy button. It's pretty funky, you know, it's lefty righty and yeah, looks good. So we've just done the firmware on here and we've put a custom logo on it, which is what you're seeing there. Give it a hit and you see what power you're in. Obviously up and down will adjust your power. Now the ramp up on this is pretty decent. You just fly through it there. See, no time at all when you're going through the whole range. That does go down to 1, but you know, whatever. Anyway, cycle through the modes. 3 clicks of the go button. And then using the up button, we cycle through all the modes. Bypass, clock, temp control, TCR with its 3 modes, and back to wattage mode. However, let's just show you temp control because it sort of has the most things you would need to do. So if you now press the down button, you'll notice the coil material has started flashing. So you press the up button again and you can cycle through your choice of coil materials. As we haven't actually got temp controlled coil in, it doesn't really matter here. Press down again and we're going to come down into our wattage, and in here you'll be able to adjust your wattage. As well as being able to go up, once you've updated your firmware, you will be able to go back down through the wattages rather than cycling all the way to the top, which is pretty nice. So the other menu you can reach is with the go button and pressing right or up. There's another menu you can hopefully get into by pressing go and right at the same time. Okay, first option you get is your screen timeout, and you can adjust that by pressing the down button. Or you can cycle through to the next menu option by pressing right or up again, and that's your logo, whether it's on or off. I quite like this logo, so we're going to leave it on. If you want to adjust the screen time, come back into there, you press down and you will cycle through your options until you are happy with what you want. Press go, job is a good one. For those of you who like a stealthy vape, you're going to hit go and left at the same time. Stealth on, bump. And apparently the clock is very stealthy. So in stealth mode you get your clock displaying like normal, but when you take a vape it all goes dark and then it'll come back a moment later. Right, there's no point showing you anything else because it all works the same, you know. When you adjust your TCR, it's the same as setting your temp control, you know. It's simple as that. So for now, back to the studio.
Back to those miserable bastards on the sofa.
Next up for you guys, we're gonna amalgamate two: button quality and menu operation.
Yeah, so the button quality is pretty decent. There's a little bit of wobble on the top button, but aside from that, it works fairly well. It's a bit of an unusual design with the rotator switch rather than a dedicated plus and minus, but you know, it's easy to use and the quality is alright. As for menu operation, again, this is a bit sort of more in line with a cuboid, something like that, rather than your standard sort of smoke menu with the 3 clicks and then you just sort of press through like that. However, it's easy to understand, it's easy enough to work out. Where it's a little bit different, if you've not used a menu like this before, it will take a little bit of figuring out. But it's the sort of figuring out you can do without looking at a manual, which is good.
Ready to dive back down again? Hell yes we are. Going back down for a firmware update.
Okay, so a quick preface to this video. Me and Slack already recorded this in the studio, however, due to many technical issues, mainly we forgot to check that audio was actually turned on and recording while we recorded this screen capture to show the logo update. We forgot to turn it on, so it all fucked up. So what I'm going to do now is actually play the video without the sound because I've got no sound, and do a quick voice overlay while I'm in the editing studio here, and we'll try and muddle through this as best we can. So if we hit play now, as I said before, this is the logo update. So you just navigate to Joyetech's website, go to the support panel, and it takes a bit of time here, but we scroll down the screen and find, come on Slack, there we go, the software download button. In here you want to find the available software for the Evic V2. Click it. It's available for Windows and Mac. It tells you that it's the latest 4.02 version. Obviously we've got Windows, so we downloaded it to the system, and then copy that out of the zip folder. This is a bitmap image that we found on Google. With the software you can only use dimensions of 64 by 40. If you navigate to Google and with the search tools you can actually specify actual images by 64 by 40 exactly, so it'll only throw up those images. Now you can save those images to the same folder and you'll have them there available to you. So if you click the update firmware button, is that what he's going to do? Come on Slack, quick vape. At this point we've plugged in the Evic via USB to the system, and the computer is just automatically installing software that it's found from the web. Obviously installed successfully, so we're able to do shit. Opening the firmware firmware update software, it will tell you what your firmware version is. We already updated it, but if you just with the available update that you pull down, if you click update and then select the version that was downloaded with the firmware and then click the update button, it will go in. But this also affords you the opportunity to actually do the logo. As you can see here, that all fucked up. It's telling us it should be a single colour bitmap image. Now the preface here is that with those Google images, they are all available images, so you actually have to change the image to a monochrome image and a single colour format, sort of black and white. Luckily we're able to use Paint in this instance, and you can actually just resave. I'll fast forward here because we were sort of error checking at the time. So you can change to black and white colour there. It will throw up an error saying, are you sure it will degrade the image? But it's fine because it's only going to be uploaded to a mod. It still won't work, and that's because it needs to be saved as a monochrome image. It's also best practice to sort of minimise the the name of the file, which is what we did here, just renamed it to DC logo. Still kind of think it looks like Dolce & Gabbana, but hey, that's just me. Slack will probably have a go at me later about that, saying I should know what the fuck it is. This is the important part. You actually save another version of that logo and in the save file type change it to monochrome bitmap. Once we do that, it will upload properly, as long as the dimensions are right and it's black and white. And there we go, updated successfully. Now, back to the studio.
Welcome back from the firmware update. Thank you very much, whoever did that. I shouldn't be thanking someone, because we just said don't thank anyone, because we don't know who's doing it. Back in the room from the firmware update. I'm not thanking anyone because we don't know who did it. What is worth mentioning here, though, is that on the bottom of the device you have that all-important reset button.
It's a small hole, so you won't be able to use your finger.
You're just going to leave that hanging there in the room.
Yeah.
Moving on.
So temp control next. Yeah, it does the big three. You know, your nickel, your titanium, your stainless steel 316, and it does it pretty decently. You know, titanium is a little bit lackluster now. Bear in mind that we're talking about out of the box firmware here. We're not talking about the upgraded firmware, and so all of these things are liable to change with improvements. You know, things rarely get worse. You know, they're usually tested one after release and improved on. Yeah, nickel, brilliant, works really well, and stainless steel again works really well. Titanium just felt a bit underpowered. It struggled to sort of meet those power demands. However, I think that was some calculation issues with the titanium, so that should be addressed, and we will confirm that. But anyway, we're talking about out-the-box settings here. Forgetting them, you've got adjustable TCR, you've got 3 memories, so you know you don't like what you get, you just change it, which is brilliant. You know, it's good.
Notice how you didn't say awesome.
That's on the list. That's the portability size and weight.
He's saving it for a special section.
Yeah. So as well as being able to set your temperature, you can quite easily set the wattage you want to run at, and yeah, it works good.
Moving on now to portability, size and weight. Now, Slack, I want to say the first 2 words in this document for me, please.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. Okay, it's tiny. It fits in the palm of your hand very, very nicely. For a 5,000 milliamp hour built-in battery, it is fucking shockingly small, but also really fucking comfortable. Not your standard sort of box configuration. They've done some sculpting down the side, made it look a bit funky. For some reason I got it in the black and it just seems to work really well. I doubt they probably had a silver. Did they?
Yeah, I've got all sorts of colours. If we would, that's later. Later.
So obviously when it was first released, their black was probably the best one that I fancied. Sure, why not? Fancied.
Yeah, so for me, the size of this is just epic. It is really good performance for that size as well. You know, I haven't just made it small and made it shit. You know, it really does stand up to the test. Talking of which, you know, it's got a really nice, solid sort of metal feel to it. It feels like it's going to take a knot. It doesn't feel small and plasticky. Yeah, and the fit in the hand is really nice. It's comfortable to hold wheels and, you know, operate dangerous machinery with. At the same time, yeah, it's just a lovely little unit.
Now let's move into battery life, which we found to be really fucking good on this. When you take into consideration the small size of the unit, it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, the only thing that really lets it down here is the charge time. It is a slow old charge, so from proper flat you're well over 5 hours in your charging on a standard plug. You know, I was a bit surprised by that. I was expecting the standard 3 to 4 sort of max. You know, 4 hours is the most I like to charge a built-in USB thing. After that, I just like, what the fuck? Why isn't this done already? You know, but it's not a game ender because you get good battery performance out of it once it is charged. I was just surprised by the slow charge. Let's quickly talk about the last bit of hardware we haven't covered, the 510 connector up top. So yeah, it's a standard flat 510 connector with a sort of plate finish rather than a cup, which means, yeah, it suits any size atomizer. Now that is the Godzilla, which is about a 28mm, I think, and there's still just enough clearance there between the atomizer and the switch itself to fit that on there without issue, and because it's a flat plate, no issues there. So even though it's a tiny unit, you can use those bigger ATIs on.
Now let's talk about style for the device. We absolutely love it. That which may have come across in this review already, I don't know. We're a bit cagey sometimes. We like the menu button. We like the placement of the menu button where it exists on the actual device. It makes it easy for easy usage. Good for muscle memory, easy to find. And we like the huge array of colours that it's available in as well.
Not only that, you've got the awesome clock to get you going there, even though it does make you want to turn it over sideways. It seems really weird having an elongated clock that way. But it's cool, you've got an analogue clock on it. I love that, it's a funky feature.
That's fucking brilliant in my eyes, because if you've got drippers loaded on top of it, like you have right now, putting a dripper sideways is not always probably the best idea.
Yeah, it looks cool. It's styling and it looks cool. Not only that, you've also got your customisable little logo, so you can have a little cock picture on there or whatever floats your boat. I don't know what people do these days. I'm not down with the cool kids. So I suppose as well, coming into styling, we've got a condom to ruin the styling. I mean, these things are never great, but it's good to have it. It's going to protect you from those knocks. Yeah, it's a nice to have. Comes free in the box.
To be fair to the device itself, I mean, we wouldn't have any issues dropping this on a hard surface from regular height. So putting the cock protection thing in the box as well is just sort of like, an added extra.
And lastly for you guys is the warranty. It's a 90-day warranty, and it's the standard warranty affair with basically you break it, you bought it. If it's a manufacturing defect, then they'll help you out.
Okay guys, it is that time. We've reached that special stage in the show where we sum up by way of pros and cons. As always, starting with the cons so that we're ending on those beautiful pros. First up.
Okay, first one I'm going to go for is the charging time. It's slow. It's boring. I don't like waiting that long. I mean, it's not terrible because it does sort of mitigate that by having good battery life, so you don't charge as often, but yeah.
Next up for the cons list has got to be the placement of that USB charger on the side of the device right at the top. Now, we've seen this on a few devices before, and I've inherently disliked that because, well, Slack's got the story actually.
Yeah, actually charging it up for this review with this dripper on it, loaded with Pancake Man, which I didn't have time to finish. Plugged it in, it was all fine, and the cable got knocked, and it just took a dive, and all the Pancake Man came out before I noticed. Luckily, I noticed before my dog did, otherwise that would have been bad. But yeah, that would have been avoided by having the charger, the cable entry point at the bottom. It would have just moved the unit a little bit. It's not world ending, but it just could have been better.
Mm-hmm.
And what's probably a record for us, final con, the top button, though it's great and it works well, it is a bit wiggly. It does give me sort of doubts about the longevity of it. So far not had any issues with it, but that wiggliness doesn't feel good, so it's going to have to be mentioned as a con.
Moving now firmly onto pros. Slack.
Got to go size and weight. For the power you get, for all the features you get, this is tiny, and yeah, it's just really good size and weight.
Next up on the pros list has got to be battery life. Now, when I used it, I had phenomenal use out of it, and it was still going strong. Then I handed it over to this guy over here, and he had a lot more fucking use out of it. And he's a heavier vapor than me, allegedly. And his own words, a good proportion of the day was had with this device.
Yeah, it was beating sort of dual 18650s, 3000 milliamp hour. So, the fact that it's 5000 milliamp hour, it does really well. Next up on this pros list is got to be the huge amount of style options. Personally, I'm not a massive fan of the black. It does look alright, but when you see some of the others, almost sort of Transformer Autobot sort of esque designs, they really stand out. But it's good because there's something for everyone. Whether you like the plain black or whether you like something a little bit more fancy, there's something for you.
Next up on the pros list has got to be the inclusion of that bypass mode on the device. Yeah, the fact that you can just flip it over the settings and just dump the full power of the battery straight into whatever mod you've got loaded on the top there.
Yeah, obviously do, a bit of sanity checking with Ohm's law, but, the fact that it's got it is awesome. Next up, there's got to be temp control. You know, it's a really good implementation of temp control, and that's on the out-of-the-box firmware, and things will only get better with that. But regardless of whether you like it out of the box or not, you've got adjustable TCR, so something for everyone.
Next up is that firmware, the fact that it's firmware updatable, and they've also included the ability to upload your own custom logos onto the device as well. The firmware side of it, brilliant, just means that Joyetech are investing in a device, so they're investing in the longevity of it, and they're looking after their customers, unlike some other fucking companies that we could mention. Sig Ellie, you fuckers! And that custom logos is just a lovely feature for those people out there that want to fuck about and make the device their own. Brilliant.
Next up on the pros list is going to be the resets, which seriously all devices should have this. All devices with a sealed battery where you can't just pull the batteries out to reset it need this. I just don't get why this isn't on every device, and it's so rare. It is so rare. So yeah. Brilliant. Well done.
It should be industry standard, like a lot of other things. Next up on the pros list is the inclusion on the display of your amp readout. Although it's a lovely display itself, it is similar, if not exactly the same, as Cuboid. I'm not sure about the size. I haven't held them side by side, so I don't know whether it's exactly the same display that they've used across both the devices, but they look fucking similar. But equally with the Cuboid, that gave you the amp readout, so does this one, which is good. We like that readout.
Yeah, that live amp readout is a cool feature, but the final pro has got to be the clock. ZOMG, it's really cool. Yeah, I actually quite like having a clock on my vape stuff now, and this analog clock, you know, screensaver type thing, it's just really funky. It's a nice touch. I looked at it and I thought that's like the most useless thing. Like, why would you want that? And then actually I quite like it.
We're going to get to a stage down the road where if a device comes and it doesn't have a clock load on it, that fucker is going on the cons list.
Once it works properly, you know, when it's sat on my desk, I don't, you know, it means I don't have to look over at my tiny little phone or unlock my mobile or something to have a look. Yeah, it's cool.
So, if we had to sum up for this device, we'd both say that we fucking like it. I mean, you've just heard the pros and cons there. You had like 3 or 4 cons versus a whole fucking host of pros. It's got so much going for it. It works accurately enough out of the box, which can only be improved on by the company that have chosen to invest in this device. It comes in a whole host of fucking brilliant colours, and it's just plug and play, isn't it?
Yes it is. Sorry.
Thanks for your inclusion, Slack.
I don't know.
Priceless. Guys, thank you for watching. We hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. If you have, please drop us a like and do the whole subscribe thing, because it helps us out a real fucking lot. Also, if you're that way inclined, follow us on the social medias, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, because... Why, Slack? Because why?
We are quite...
Oh, I wonder what this word could be.
Go
on.
Chatty. Yeah, so again, if you've got any questions or comments about this device or anything else, hit us up in the comments section below or find us on those social medias. But for now, thanks for watching Smog Blog. That's cool. Alright, oh, we are recording. There's that.
What do you want?
No, there's the hammer. The black hammer.
You want me to drop the hammer? So you haven't watched Avengers? Yes, you did. I brought it around for you. Yeah, you didn't watch it.
Which one?
The first one.
Yeah, of course I did. Went to the cinema, I saw it, maybe. Or you brought it round. Something. I've seen it more than once.
Back in the room.
Hi.
Okay, this is going to be one of those ones where we're darting in and out as usual, and get ready to dart back out again, because we're going to be going up close with button pushes.
Oh no, something different.
The button push, I don't know what the fuck he's on. I really don't.
And that's going to give you your screen time before it powers off. Oh, and I'm failing to use this. And this gives you your screen. And this disappears. Do it again. The other menu you can get into is by pressing up and... Ah, motherfucker. The other menu you can get into is by pressing go and right. Oh, motherfucking hell. Well, we needed some outtakes. My incompetence comes into play here. Another menu you can get into by pressing the go and right button. Assuming you can press the right button on camera. There's another menu you can get into, assuming you can press the buttons on camera, by pressing go and right. Fuck no. So, for those of you who like a stealthy vape, you're going to hit go and left. Let's see if I can manage this. Nope. Bollocks.
Firmware update. What's with the spooky noises?
Did I do that last time?
You just did it this time. Let's deal with this time and then we'll deal with last time.
Ooh, it's exciting.
Not, ooh, I'm a scary ghost.
No.
Because it kind of comes across as, ooh, I'm an Australian scary ghost. Get on.
I'm going to pop a message up, assuming it's confirmed once we've done the firmware update.
Well, we really hope a message is going to pop up, otherwise someone's going to end up looking like an idiot.
Yeah.
Again.
Is everything else just?
No, you've got to get the full experience, haven't you? You don't usually do a heat test on a battery, but...
But yeah, Pancake Man says we do.
Pancake Man does know best.
It doesn't feel small and plasticky. And I was probably going somewhere with that.
I'd hope so, seeing as this is a review.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny just hearing fits nicely in the hand all the time.
Yeah.
Like we work in a fucking sex shop.
Yeah.
But with you coming down the bottoms in the fucking close-ups.
Yeah, I'm not going to put it on.
Just going to wave it at it.
Waggle it. It comes with a condom. Right.
What, having pictures of chickens on their displays? The look was first. Horse. Fag.
You're nearly there.
Yeah, I know. It really heats up quickly in here.
Yes, now the lights are pointing at us. Keep talking, Sam.
Fucking hell.
Bypass mode.
Not a juice review. They're really fucking quick.
Yeah, we've still got to film the other bits as well.
Yeah, I know, but for a review, that was really fucking quick.
Limited amount of fuck-ups as well.
So, in the absence of funny, we bring you vape tricks.
It's all windy.
V-God, I'm coming for you.